Alright guys, so this is the first engine we're going to try to mess with getting running. It's an Onan, an older Onan generator, and it is electric start. It has this as a backup. Of course, this was mounted in an RV, so this blew out underneath. You could drain the oil from underneath. There was a plate mounted on here, which I took off because it's covered in rat crap. It's got a starter switch here. I noticed it had a momentary switch, and I'm like, I'll bet you that's a starter switch. And that's exactly what it is. Start it, stop it, and I guess that's to turn on the electricity. Well, it says hand crank, so I guess, switch must be in blah 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 to be effect start position except while hand cranking. Okay, so I guess that turns the ignition on. I don't know, but I've got a battery back here. It's got a little charge to it, and we are going to take this cover off. Well, first we're going to try it. Now something in here is clicking, so it's got a solenoid or something in there that's sticking, or a bad wire, but we're going to take this cover off and get to it. See what we can find in there. We might be able to get this thing turning over, and if we can, ooh, there's a whole lot of stuff going on in here. Good old mud daubers, dirt daubers. They gotta go. Need that falling down in the generator. Get the blowgun out here later, and so there's all kinds of little points and things. Tell you what we need to do. We need to put another pair of vice grips on the positive side, and then we'll just jump the solenoid. Get a little jumper wire and see if we can't make it spin over. Hang tight. Okay, well, I made a good connection on the battery, and now the generator. So it's a starter generator, I guess is how they put this. It uses the windings to start the motor, and then it kicks over with the voltage regulators and stuff in here and starts putting out electricity instead of bringing electricity in. And then an auto light spark plug. Neato. Let's get them out. The plug on the other side looks remarkably clean, like they just put it in there. WD in each side. Put a little bit of this stabilizer in there. Let's see what it'll do. Yeah, still nothing. And that battery may not quite have enough juice to do this either. So we've got a wire somewhere, or a brush or something. Let's take this cover off the end down here and see what we got in there. Alright, I got a battery charged. Let's see. I think we got it now. Get another mud dauber nest. Let's do this real quick. Well, let's go ahead and put the plug in. I doubt we have any spark at all, but you never know. Alright, so let's get in here to the points. Hopefully we get to both sides. Pretty sure it's gonna be right. I don't know if putting electricity or not, but that'll work too. But these two don't need to be hooked up to something. I don't know what them are, unless those were for a remote starter, maybe. You might have had a way to start it inside the RV, which would make sense. Anywho, that's going to be it for now, guys. We'll get a battery on this thing in the morning, and we will come back and see if we can't get this thing to firing. And I think we can. I don't think it's going to take much to get it to fire up and run. We got it where it'll turn over now. It's got plenty of compression, seems like. I guess that's a governor there, preset. And then, not really sure about that. That's your throttle. I know what it is. Your throttle. That's your preset for your throttle. Oh yeah, I see. That is hooked up to that. It's hooked up to. It's got a lever hooked up to the spring, hooked up to that rod. So it's some sort of governor, but it's also tied in the intake, or it's just bolted to the intake. Not really sure what that is, but we still got a ways to go on this thing, guys. So for now, we're gonna stop here, and we'll be back tomorrow with a hot battery, and we'll check down points. The points look good and clean, and we'll see if she's gonna run. Later. All right, guys, so here's what we're gonna do this morning before this sun ends up getting over where my truck is. Y'all hush. We're gonna take the battery off the old F Super Duty, bring it over here, put it on the Onan, try to make the Onan fire up and at least try to run. I know it's not going to run because I don't have a fuel system hooked up to it. The carburetor, I'm sure, is totally trashed inside. I'm not 100% sure on the points yet, but we definitely got to get it where it's turning over faster. And this is the only other battery that I know of I have that's good and hot. So it's gonna get donated. Let's put that coffee up there. Perfect. Oh, that's cool. Look at this thing. It's very like me. We're gonna work on. I need to get the piece to fix this clutch so that I can get this going again so I can sell it. Look at this little clutch piece. No, don't fall, please. Don't fall inside. Good. Is that one? Anyways, yeah, the clutch piece on it. Still tied till December this year. Or AC works. I didn't have to read the because back when I was I was like, I don't know. I'm going to clear all that out of these. So I completely bypassed the heater core even. And then find out it was a giant crack off the wrong thing, which is fantastic. Once I take it off, actually made the truck a lot better. I had the wrong tools. It worked though. Once I got the actually with the lock cleaner, otherwise the truck looks now. It's actually well done. So much nicer. That's it on everything. Yeah. I'm ready with a wearable now. Okay. Safe. So, yeah, we can see the tires. That's all we're going to do for the moment. And we're going to get the truck out here, get here and all that stuff. We're going to unplug it and figure out what else. Try to get running step by step. I forgot just how heavy this battery is. Oh my gosh, it's heavy. And I shut the gate. Had a real problem with thievery around here. I live in a rural area, but there's still enough people that live around me. You wouldn't think that kind of stuff would happen, but it does. There. Any juice left in it? Actually, it does. It didn't completely drain the battery being left on or left hooked up. This ought to make a huge difference in the cranking speed for sure. That's got to be tended to. Somebody's changed that lug and it's actually cut through the grommet and making contact with bare metal, which is never good. Now, let's see what that'll do. Oh yeah, world of difference. Okay, so it has spark. I'm seeing the points sparking a little. Get some sandpaper, clean that out, see if we can make it fire. You heard it try once. I ain't got much room. All I'm doing is I'm prying the points open, letting it clamp down on the paper, which I folded over, and then dragging it through. A lot more spark then. Sparking in all the wrong places though. guess there was that much stuff in there. It's running on that. Well, there you go, guys. There's that one. So we accomplished what we wanted to do with this one. Ooh, that's cold. We're gonna seal it all back up and revisit this project at another time when we have more time and get them out, get it on something, and actually check it for power. So that's definitely a win. Which, like I said in the past, this stuff I get from this guy, I went to school with him. Told y'all this story all before, but for new listeners, or new watchers or subscribers or whatever you want to call it, this was an old high school buddy of mine. This is all his dad's stuff. Of course, unfortunately, his dad passed away here a while back, and he's wanting to clean up the place. And he knows I love tinkering with this, and he knows I have a YouTube channel where I do the Will It Run videos. So he's like, hey, let's make a deal. So I've been buying this stuff from him over the last year or two, bringing it home, making videos, selling them when I'm done, so I can afford to go buy more stuff. And this stuff that was in a shed, which this was in the shed also, he told me, he said anything he put in the building was stuff that either ran or he knew would run, which is kind of cool. And so far everything I've got from him did, with the exception of there was an old hit and miss engine that I could not crank over fast enough. But it is what it is. So now that we know this is a runner, that's one I can cross off the mile-long list. And like I said in the beginning of the video, the whole point was to do a Will It Run on this, which I did, and it does. And now I've got to get it unloaded. I've got this military 2-cylinder generator I've got to try to get running, which it's pull start only, which sucks, but it's going to have to be right. I mean, the points, the ignition, plugs, carburetor, everything's going to have to be just right so that you're not yanking it, because you got to wrap the rope, pull it, yank the rope, pull it. You know, it's a lot. And then get all the rest of this stuff unloaded. I will do a Will It Run video on this diesel later on today when I get this stuff unloaded, because we actually have a project for this. So I guess that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. Also, on a side note, I've got this Briggs gear reduction engine, and I don't know, I thought it was a Model Z. It's missing the carburetor. I do have the hand crank for it. It does spin free. He's had the head off for some reason, so I'm assuming it's got stuck valves. It's had some brazing work done or soldering work done on it. It's got the cast iron head, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts. So if any of you guys that are into these old engines know what this is, hit me up and let me know. I can't find any numbers other than this stuff, and I haven't really researched them to see if that describes a year model. I know years and years ago I used to be into all these old engines. I loved just buying them engines, the stuff that had the engines on them, and I was real knowledgeable. I'd looked at so many of them I could pretty much tell what they were. But it's been so long, and with no numbers on this, I knew it was either, it's not a ZZ, I don't think, because of the cast iron head. So it's probably either A or a Z. I'm not for sure. But like I said, if you guys know what it is, hit me up and let me know. And that's going to be it for now, guys. We're going to start unloading this stuff so I can clean my truck off. And we will catch y'all on the next one. Later.